You brought those plants home with so much excitement. You picked the prettiest ones at the garden center, found a beautiful spot on your porch, watered them with care, and a few weeks later, they are yellowing, drooping, or just sitting there like they have completely given up on you. Friend, that is not bad luck. That is not you being a bad gardener. That is 7 very specific mistakes quietly working against you from the moment you planted, and not one person warned you about them. Today, every single one gets exposed, and every single one gets fixed. Stay with me through all 7, because number 4 is the one that catches even experienced gardeners completely off guard. If you are new here, welcome. This channel is your no-fuss guide to growing a garden you are genuinely proud of at any age and any experience level. Hit that subscribe button right now and tap the bell so you never miss a tip we put out every week. Now let us get into it. Here is what most gardening books skip. A plant in the ground stretches its roots outward, searching for water, nutrients, and oxygen. Your container plant cannot do any of that. Everything it needs comes entirely from inside that pot, and every decision you make either helps it thrive or slowly works against it. Drop a comment in the comment section if a container plant has ever just given up on you. You are not alone, and that is exactly why we are here. Whether you garden in warm zones 9 through 11, the cooler zones 5 through 7, or anywhere along the mild coastal zones 8 through 10, every mistake on this list applies to you. Mistake number 1. You watered your plant with genuine care. It looked fine for a week or two. Then the leaves turned yellow. The soil was still wet, so you waited. It got worse. You watered again. It got worse still. That is drainage failure, the single deadliest mistake in container gardening. When water sits at the bottom of a pot with nowhere to escape, roots suffocate. They need both water and oxygen to survive. Within days, root rot sets in, and by the time you see the symptoms, the damage is already deep. Every pot must have drainage holes, no exceptions. If your favorite decorative pot has none, drill your own. Elevate your pots with feet, bricks, or a wooden block so water flows freely away from the roots. And stop putting gravel at the bottom. That old advice actually raises the water level higher into the soil and makes drainage worse, not better. Zones 9 through 11. Afternoon thunderstorms dump water fast, so clear holes are non-negotiable. Zones 4 through 6. Check your pots at the start of every season before spring rains arrive. Does your favorite pot have drainage holes right now? Drop yes or no in the comments. No judgment. Let us figure this out together. Mistake number 2. Garden soil works beautifully in your garden beds. Inside a container, it compacts like concrete, squeezes out all the oxygen roots need, and creates pockets that are soggy in some spots and bone dry in others, sometimes at the exact same time. Always use proper potting mix made specifically for containers. It holds the right amount of moisture while staying light and well-draining so roots can breathe. A blend that works extremely well is 2 parts potting mix, 1 part compost, and 1 part perlite. Replace your mix every 1 to 2 seasons because it breaks down and loses structure over time. 2 identical tomato plants, same sun, same water, same care. 1 in garden soil, 1 in potting mix. The garden soil plant produced a small handful of tomatoes all season. The potting mix plant produced over 40. Same plant, completely different result. Zones 7 through 10. Add extra perlite up to 30% to stop your soil baking into a crust during summer heat. Zones 8 through 11. Prioritize drainage in your mix to prevent fungal problems in warm, wet conditions. Mistake number 3. A tiny seedling dropped into a huge pot seems like a generous head start. It is actually one of the fastest ways to kill a young plant. That small root system cannot reach all the moisture sitting in the oversized pot. The excess soil stays wet for days, and the roots sit surrounded by cold, waterlogged conditions they cannot use. Root rot moves in quietly. The opposite is equally damaging. A plant left too long in a pot that is too small becomes root-bound, roots circling with nowhere to go, strangling each other until the plant simply stops growing. Choose a pot 2 to 4 inches wider than your plant's current root ball. Herbs start comfortably in 6 to 8 inch pots. Tomatoes and peppers need a minimum 5-gallon container to support a full season of fruit production. Size up gradually. Never jump from a small pot straight to a large one. Zones 9 through 11. Slightly larger containers work in your favor during intense heat because more soil volume holds more moisture and stays cooler longer. Have you ever put a tiny seedling into a huge pot thinking it would thrive? Tell me in the comments. Every experienced gardener has made this mistake at least once. Mistake number 4. Your plant starts strong. Then around week 3 or 4 growth slows. Leaves look pale. Flowers become fewer and smaller. You have not changed a single thing, but your plant is quietly starving. Every time you water, nutrients wash straight out through those drainage holes. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, gone with every watering. Within weeks, your potting mix is nutritionally empty, and your container plant has nowhere else to search for food. At planting, mix slow-release fertilizer granules directly into your potting mix. These feed your plant consistently for months. Then every 2 to 3 weeks through the growing season, add liquid fertilizer as a direct boost. Use a balanced 10-10-10 formula for most vegetables, high nitrogen for leafy greens, and high phosphorus for flowering plants. Compost tea, fish emulsion, and worm castings all work beautifully if you prefer organic. Zones 8 through 11. Feed more frequently because your plants stay actively growing longer. Zones 4 through 6. Concentrate feeding from late spring through early fall, then ease off as temperatures drop. When did you last fertilize your containers? Last week, last month, or honestly never? Drop your answer in the comments. That is exactly what today is for. If what you are learning right now is already shifting the way you see your garden, subscribe before we go further. Hit that button and tap the bell. Every week this channel gives you clear, honest advice built around gardeners exactly like you. Now, mistake 5 comes straight from loving plants too much. Mistake number 5. You pack a beautiful pot full of every variety that caught your eye at the garden center. For 2 weeks it looks stunning. Then everything starts declining at once. Below the soil, every root system fights the others for the same limited water and nutrients. Nobody wins. Above the soil, overlapping leaves block sunlight and trap humidity. The perfect conditions for fungal disease to spread fast. Respect the spacing guidelines on every plant tag. They apply inside containers just as much as in garden beds. Use the thriller, filler, spiller method for mixed containers. One tall, dramatic centerpiece plant, medium plants filling the body of the container, and trailing plants cascading over the edges. Every plant gets its own space, its own role, and room to breathe. If you have ever packed a pot full thinking more equals better, hit the like button right now. Every one of us has done it at least once. Mistake number 6. Too much water drowns roots and cuts off oxygen. Leaves yellow, stems soften, soil never dries. Too little water puts plants through repeated drought cycles that permanently weaken roots. Leaves wilt, edges crisp, soil pulls away from the pot walls. No fixed watering schedule works for every plant, every pot, and every season. The finger test does. Push your finger 2 inches into the soil before every watering. Dry at that depth. Water now, deeply, until it flows from the drainage holes. Still damp. Wait and check tomorrow. Never give small daily sips. That keeps roots shallow and fragile, no matter what else you do right. Group thirsty plants like tomatoes and cucumbers together, and drought-tolerant plants like rosemary and lavender together, so you are never overwatering some while neglecting others. Zones 9 through 11 in summer. Containers can dry out within a single day during a heat wave. Check morning and evening. Zones 4 through 6 in spring and fall. Cool temperatures, slow evaporation significantly. Let the finger test decide every single time. Were you watering a little every day or soaking deeply every few days? Tell me honestly in the comments. Mistake number 7. The spot that is convenient for you. and the spot your plant actually needs are often two completely different places. A sun-loving tomato in shade grows tall and spindly, chasing light it cannot find. A shade-loving fern in direct afternoon sun gets scorched within days. Full sun plants need 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight daily. Tomatoes, peppers, most herbs, and flowering annuals. Partial shade plants need 3 to 5 hours. Lettuce, spinach, and impatiens. Full shade plants thrive on fewer than 3 hours. Ferns, hostas, and certain leafy greens. Spend one full day watching where sunlight actually falls in your space, every 2 hours. Then rotate every container 90 degrees every 1 to 2 weeks. The side facing the light all season grows full, while the opposite side stays thin and weak. Rotating gives every side equal light, and the whole plant fills out evenly. Zones 9 through 11. Move full sun plants to afternoon shade between 2 and 5 during peak summer heat. Zones 4 through 6. South-facing spots are your most valuable real estate. Use them for your most sun-hungry plants. Take a photo of your containers today. Rotate 90 degrees every week for 2 weeks, then take another photo. Share both in the comments. I want to see the difference, and so will every gardener reading those comments after you. Before we recap, if you have stayed through all 7 mistakes, you are exactly the kind of gardener this channel was built for. Subscribe right now if you have not already. Tap that bell, and let us wrap this up clean. Mistake 1. Drainage holes in every pot. Elevate your containers, forget the gravel. Mistake 2. Potting mix only, never garden soil. Mistake 3. 2 to 4 inches wider than the root ball. Size up gradually. Mistake 4. Slow release granules at planting, plus liquid fertilizer, every 2 to 3 weeks. Mistake 5. Respect spacing. Use thriller filler spiller. Mistake 6. Finger test every time. Water deeply, never sip. Mistake 7. Right plant in right light. Rotate 90 degrees every 1 to 2 weeks. You now understand your container garden better than most people who have been doing this for years. Tell me in the comments, which mistake hit closest to home and which fix are you trying first? I read every comment. Share this with one gardening friend who needs it, because one video can completely turn their season around. If this video helped you in any way, hit that like button right now. Subscribe and tap the bell so you won't miss out in our next video. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.